We all know the big names in the automotive world. BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Tesla. These brands dominate the conversations, the specialty magazines, and the dreams of millions of enthusiasts. But what if I told you there are brands you've probably never considered that are outpacing these giants in key areas? Brands that might not have the prestige of a three-pointed star, but once you drive them, you realize they're playing in a whole different league. Today, you're going to discover 5 car brands that most people overlook or underestimate, but that are blowing away the more famous ones by a mile. And I'll tease you with something that'll blow your mind. The number 1 on this list is an electric brand that's managed to beat Tesla in range, interior quality, and battery tech. And no, it's not Chinese or German. But before we dive into these game-changing brands, and if you're passionate about cars and want to uncover options that few people know about, give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Alright, let's kick off the countdown. Number 5, Genesis. We're starting with a brand that many still don't recognize when they see it on the street. Genesis is the premium brand from the Hyundai Group, and here's where it gets interesting. It's not just any premium brand clumsily trying to mimic the Germans. And it's a brand that came in studying every mistake BMW, Mercedes, and Audi have made over decades and decided to do things completely differently. The question Genesis asked was simple but revolutionary. Why do luxury car buyers have to pay sky-high prices for features that should be standard? And with that philosophy, they built a full lineup from sedans to SUVs. Take the Genesis G80 as the perfect example of this approach. And this sedan goes head-to-head with the BMW 5 Series and Mercedes E-Class. But here's the fundamental difference that changes everything. When you compare standard equipment, the G80 comes with absolutely everything that would be pricey options on a BMW 5 Series, inflating the final price. Ventilated seats with massage, a premium Lexicon sound system with 17 speakers, massive high-res screens, 360-degree cameras, head-up display, all included as standard. And to match the equipment on a base G80, you'd have to shell out nearly $20,000 more in individual options on a BMW. And we're not talking about inferior quality or cheap materials. The G80's interior materials rival the Germans without apology. Genuine Napa leather on seats and doors, real woods carefully selected, not plastic imitations, flawless assembly with no squeaks. Head to a Genesis dealership and feel the materials for yourself. You won't be able to tell it apart from a Mercedes. The huge difference is that Genesis doesn't charge you $40,000 extra for that level of finish. But what really lands Genesis on this ranking is its proven reliability. While BMW and Mercedes constantly show up on lists of brands with the most mechanical issues, according to Consumer Reports, Genesis consistently ranks among the most reliable brands in the market year after year. In the US, Genesis offers a 10-year or 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. 10 full years. BMW gives you 4 years. Mercedes the same. Why can Genesis offer double the warranty without worry? Because they know for sure their cars won't break down. They've tested these engines for years. And there are more perks no one else offers. Genesis provides free scheduled maintenance for 3 full years. They send a tow truck to your house at no cost, pick up your car, leave you an equivalent loaner, and return yours washed and with a full tank of gas, all included in the price. Imagine calling BMW for that service. They'd hand you a $500 bill just for the pickup. Genesis nailed something fundamental that the Germans forgot decades ago. Luxury isn't just stitched leather and varnished wood. True luxury is not having to worry about a thing, and the results speak for themselves. Genesis is winning design awards. The GV60 Electric won innovation prizes. Their sales are growing every year while the German brands struggle. Number 4. Mazda. Now we're onto a brand that's technically not unknown, but brutally undervalued by the general market. Most people see Mazda as just another Japanese brand. Direct competition for Toyota and Honda. But that's a fundamental misperception that costs you big time. Mazda stopped competing with Toyota on price and practicality years ago. Now they're aiming straight at BMW for driving experience. And in many critical ways, they're winning that battle. Let's talk about the Mazda 3 Turbo as a case study. This sporty compact goes toe-to-toe with the BMW 2 Series. But the Mazda 3's driving experience is astonishingly pure and analog. The steering has progressive weight and real road feedback. You feel exactly what the front wheels are doing. The suspension is masterfully tuned to connect with the road without being uncomfortable for daily use. The manual transmission, when you spec it is precise and satisfying with short throws. Everything BMW used to do right before they got too digital and electronically assisted. Veteran enthusiasts who test the Mazda 3 say the same thing. It feels more like a 90s BMW E46 than today's G20 BMWs, and that's a massive compliment in the car world. But Mazda isn't just about sportiness and handling. Their interiors have taken a massive qualitative leap in the last 5 years. The CX-60, their biggest SUV for Europe, has an interior that rivals Audi directly. Soft-touch materials everywhere, impeccable stitching without flaws, minimalist but elegant design without feeling cold. And here's something Mazda does better than almost any manufacturer: driver-focused ergonomics. The physical controls are exactly where they should be, intuitively. You don't need to look to find key buttons. Everything is logical and flows naturally. Compare that to BMW, which shoved absolutely everything into touchscreens starting in 2021. Changing the AC temperature in a modern BMW requires 3 screen taps while driving at 60 miles per hour. In a Mazda, you twist a physical knob without glancing away for a second. Which is safer and more logical? The answer's obvious. Mazda also stays true to naturally aspirated engines in many key models, while everyone else turbocharged everything to meet emissions. Mazda perfected their natural engines with Skyactiv tech. The result is smooth, linear, and extremely durable motors without complications. A Mazda with 200,000 miles still runs like new. Many turbo BMWs start having costly issues at 100,000 miles. And the final price: a fully loaded Mazda 3 costs what a base BMW 2 Series does without options. You're getting more car, better equipment for less money. But people pay the BMW premium just for the propeller badge. Number 3, Škoda. Next up is a brand that's part of the massive Volkswagen empire, but that many unfairly see as inferior or second tier. Big misperception. Škoda uses the exact same modular MQB and MLB platforms, the same proven TSI and TDI engines, and the same DSG transmissions that Audi and Volkswagen use, but with key strategic differences that make them better for real family use. Take the Škoda Superb as the perfect example. This large sedan competes directly with the Audi A6 in everything. They share the same MLB Evo platform. Identical engine, identical transmission, but the Superb has significantly more usable interior space than the A6. The Superb's trunk is massive, 625 liters of capacity. The A6 has only 530 liters, almost 100 liters difference for luggage. Why such a stark difference? Because Audi sacrifices practical space for stylized design. The A6 has a lower, a sportier roofline that looks great in photos. The Superb is taller and boxier, prioritizing livable space. For real families with kids and gear, the Superb wins hands down. And the Škoda's interior. Yeah, the Audi has slightly more premium materials in some details, but the Škoda isn't inferior at all. It has good quality leather, big crisp screens, everything you need and more. The huge difference is that the Škoda costs 15,000 euros less than an equivalent A6. 15,000 euros for a 4-ring chrome badge. Is that worth the spend? For many smart buyers, definitely not. And here's something Škoda does better than the entire Volkswagen group. Smart practicality designed for real use. The Superb has an umbrella integrated into the driver's door. It has ice scrapers hidden in the fuel cap. It has special hooks for bags in the trunk. But these are small details that Audi would never include because they're too practical and not luxurious enough for their image. But in daily use over years, these details matter more than having the right badge to impress the neighbor. Škoda deeply understood that cars are transportation tools. Tools that should make family life easier, not complicated. Not status symbols that make everything harder and cost fortunes in maintenance. And the proven reliability. Škoda consistently shows up in Europe's most reliable brand rankings. Audi doesn't rank as high. The engines are exactly the same shared ones, but Škoda tunes them more conservatively. Less power extracted, more durability guaranteed, fewer shop visits. A Superb with 200,000 kilometers is common. An A6 at that mileage starts having costly problems. Number 2, Cupra. Now, we're onto a brand that was born just a few years ago, but is already shaking up the established performance segment hard. Cupra started as Seat's sport division, but it spun off as its own brand in 2018. And it did so with a crystal-clear mission. Deliver authentic performance cars without the ridiculous prices of German brands. The Cupra Formentor is the perfect example of this disruptive philosophy, and it's a compact performance SUV that competes directly with the Audi SQ5 and BMW X3 M40i in performance. But while those Germans start over 60,000 euros base, the Formentor 5Z5 with its 5-cylinder turbo engine costs 45,000 euros, 15,000 euros less for the same measurable performance. And that 5-cylinder engine is legendary in the car world. It's the same 2.5-liter turbo that Audi uses in the RS3 and RSQ3. 390 brutal horsepower, an incredible signature sound, 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds. But in the Cupra, it costs 20,000 euros less than the Audi equivalent. Why the price difference? Because Cupra doesn't carry the weight of decades of German prestige. It doesn't need to charge extra just for the badge and brand history, but the car is just as quick on the stopwatch. And here's something interesting from the design side. Cupra's design is bolder and more youthful than conservative Volkswagen or Audi. And it has more distinctive personality on the streets. Aggressive headlights, sporty wheels, the brand's signature copper color. A Cupra doesn't blend in at parking lots. While Audi plays it safe with designs that don't offend anyone, Cupra dares to be different and polarizing, and young enthusiasts appreciate that big time. They don't want to look like boring 50-year-old executives. They want a car with strong character. The Formentor's interior also surprises in a good way. Bucket sports seats with integrated headrests, perforated leather steering wheel with contrast stitching, copper details throughout the cabin. It feels special and unique. Not generic like many Volkswagen Golf Rs, and the drive is well calibrated by engineers. The suspension is firm but not uncomfortable for daily driving. The steering has progressive weight and feedback. The exhaust sounds good and aggressive without being obnoxious. And it's a car that puts a smile on your face every time you push it. Compare that to a base Audi Q5 that's boring. Comfortable, sure. Refined, too, but boring to tears. No excitement at all. Cupra brought back what many brands completely forgot. Cars should be fun to drive. Number 1, Lucid Motors. And now we hit the top of the list. A brand you probably haven't even heard mentioned in conversations. Lucid Motors is an American electric startup founded by Peter Rawlinson, a Tesla's former chief engineer. And they've achieved something that seemed absolutely impossible, beating Tesla at its own game of high-performance electric cars. The Lucid Air is a luxury electric sedan that competes directly with the Tesla Model S Plaid. But in nearly every measurable and objective way, the Lucid is dramatically superior. Let's start with range, the Achilles heel of all EVs.
And the Lucid Air Dream Edition range has an EPA-certified range of 520 miles on a single charge. The Tesla Model S long range has 405 miles in the same test cycle, almost 120 miles difference. That's huge. How did a startup pull this off against giant Tesla? Brutal efficiency taken to the extreme. The Lucid Air is the most efficient electric car in the world right now. It gets 4.5 miles per kilowatt hour. Tesla gets over 3. It's next-level battery engineering, but range isn't everything in a luxury car. The Lucid's interior makes the Tesla look cheap and Spartan. Tesla uses synthetic materials and extreme minimalist design to the point of absurdity. Lucid uses real high-quality leather, carefully selected real wood, real machined metal. The Lucid's steering wheel is a functional work of art. Tesla's is basic and feels like a video game controller. Lucid's screens are better integrated architecturally into the design. It's not just an iPad stuck on the dash like Tesla does. Everything flows organically as if it was designed that way from the start, and the interior space is astonishing for a sedan. The Lucid Air has more rear legroom than a Mercedes S-Class, more space than the biggest traditional luxury sedan on the market. How'd they do it? Because Lucid designed its EV platform from scratch with absolute space efficiency in mind. Tesla adapted existing combustion car designs. And Lucid's battery tech is genuinely revolutionary. Their system runs at 924 volts DC. Tesla runs at 400 volts. Higher voltage means faster charging and less energy loss to heat. Lucid can add 200 miles of range in just 20 minutes at high power stations. Tesla needs 40 minutes for the same, double the wait time. But here's Lucid's massive challenge as a company. They're a small startup with limited production. Tesla cranks out millions of cars annually. Lucid makes thousands right now. Getting service and parts can be tricky outside California. They don't have Tesla's global network with thousands of superchargers. And the entry price. The Lucid Air starts at $87,900. Not cheap at all. But for that, you get a car that objectively outperforms a $100,000 Tesla. The existential question is whether Lucid will survive long-term as a company. Plenty of EV startups have gone bust lately. Fisker filed for bankruptcy in 2024. Lordstown went bankrupt. Rivian is fighting to stay afloat. But Lucid has massive financial backing from Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund. Billions of dollars secured. And they have the world's best battery engineer leading the tech side. If anyone can truly challenge Tesla's dominance, it's Lucid Motors with this revolutionary tech. There you have it, the top 5. 5 brands doing things completely differently from the establishment, that don't settle for copying the big players, that genuinely innovate, constantly improve, and offer more value for less money. Genesis outdoing the Germans in accessible luxury with unmatched warranties. Mazda reclaiming the pure driving joy that BMW lost. Škoda being more practical and roomy than Audi with the same German mechanicals. Cupra delivering real performance excitement without sky-high prices. And Lucid redefining what an electric car can be. But here's something important you need to understand clearly. These brands aren't perfect either. Genesis still struggles with brand recognition in Europe. Many don't even know the brand exists. Mazda has a smaller dealer network,
than Toyota. Getting service can be tricky in small towns. Škoda, while excellent, will never have Audi's social prestige. For some buyers, that prestige matters more than logic. Cupra is very new, and its long-term resale value is still uncertain, and Lucid might not survive as a company if sales don't ramp up fast. But despite these real limitations, these 5 brands are proving something fundamental: that the dominance of traditional brands isn't unbreakable or eternal, that innovation can come from unexpected places, and that smart consumers are starting to seriously question if they really need to pay the German premium. Because here's the uncomfortable truth for BMW, Mercedes, and Audi. These lesser-known brands are improving dramatically every year, while the Germans rest on their laurels, charging more for less. Genesis just launched EVs that rival Mercedes' EQ. Mazda is developing inline-6 engines to compete with BMW. Škoda keeps expanding its lineup with more sophisticated models. Cupra is growing sales faster than any European performance brand. And Lucid is developing an SUV called Gravity that'll directly threaten the Tesla Model X. The revolution is happening right now before our eyes. Next time you're thinking about buying a new car, don't stick only to the famous brands you've known your whole life. Dig deep into these less obvious options. Test drive them at dealerships. Compare specs in detail. Read reviews from real owners, not just paid auto journalists. You'll be amazed at how much better these brands can be. Because the best car isn't the one with the most prestigious badge to impress the neighbor. It's the one that fits your real needs, makes you happy every time you drive it, and doesn't bankrupt you. Now tell me honestly, did you know about these 5 brands before watching this video? Would you dare buy a lesser-known brand over BMW or Mercedes? Which of these 5 caught your eye the most, and for what specific reasons? Drop it in the comments because I want to read all your thoughts and personal experiences. And if you liked this eye-opening video, you'll love these others about cars no one expects to be this good. Give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for more content that exposes the truths the auto industry doesn't want you to know, because it hurts their sales of expensive models. See you in the next video, where we'll keep uncovering secrets.